There are so many kits available for the GT86 that it's starting to get hard to keep track of everything. I mean, Urus just yesterday announced that they're halfway done with the drift kit that they're making for the ZN6, but that's a story for another day. Today, we're going to be looking in depth at what I can confidently say is the wildest kit ever made for the GT86. And probably the wildest kit that will ever be made for the GT86. We'll see about that though. 326 Power. Here it is, the 326 Power Gachabari wide body kit. I mean, just look at this thing. No kit stands out more than this one. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you either love it or you hate it. There's not really going to be an in-between. It looks like it came straight out of a Gundam movie or something. Now, a lot of you probably know 326 Power because of a specific product that they make. Maybe it's the Power Wing, or their custom coilovers, or the Yaba King Ghost wheels that made a lot of commotion on the internet a few years back. But some of you may also just know them for the super unique aero that they've produced over the years for cars like the S15, S13, etc. They make parts for all sorts of different kinds of cars. The founder of 326 Power, the D1GP legend Mitsuru Haraguchi, is an overall super creative guy that's had a huge influence on the way people styled their car even well before he created 326 Power. So now that you've got a bit of background info on 326 Power, let's take a quick look at this kit. This 86 right here is styled up with about 10 different 326 aero pieces, coming from a combination of both their 3D Star and Gachabari wide body kit sets. The Gachabari kit itself is basically just the wide fenders that you see here, along with the normal 326 Power Wing that they actually extended wider, even wider than it already was, to match up with those really super wide rear fenders. All the other pieces come from their much more tame 3D Star aero line. I'm actually a pretty big fan of some of these 3D Star aero pieces, notably the roof spoiler. This looks to be one of the closest options we have now if you want to try to mimic that BN or Origin style roof wing look. It's not nearly as wide and the shape is quite a bit different, but it still manages to capture a bit of that vibe, especially if you paint match it to the car. I also really love these Type 2 side skirts because they're almost like a TRD skirt, but it seems like the ridge is a bit more prominent all along the side. The over fenders are 150 millimeters wider in the front and 200 millimeters wider in the rear, which means you're going to have to run some big old spacers or some huge crazy spec'd wheels if you want to get even close to flush on this car. And if you are running these fenders, you are definitely going to want to be going for that flush look, otherwise it's just going to look wacky as hell. When 326 was designing this kit, they just looked at the factory body lines of the ZN6 and said, screw that. They completely went their own direction with this kit. And you can see that clearly when you take a look at the over fenders in the rear with these massive, oversized, multi-layered vents. They look like they belong on a fighter jet. And these crazy geometric looking hard lines from the front to the back. They definitely did not copy anyone's style when designing this kit. It's super unique and gives the car a presence you can't get anywhere else. As far as the price goes, if you want everything in this picture, it's going to cost you about $3,500 USD before shipping. If you just want to get the over fenders, that'll run you about $1,800 USD before shipping. Not too bad for something like this, in my opinion. I mean, I don't imagine that this is a super high volume item, so you can expect to be paying a little bit more, but it's honestly not as much as I was expecting. A pretty good deal for those that are interested in this kit. Now, would I run these over fenders on my car? Absolutely not. A lot of you guys that have been watching my videos have a pretty good idea of the style direction that I like to take my cars in, and this is probably the exact opposite of that. But I still think it's a pretty cool kit, and I'm happy it's out there just based on the fact that it's fun to look at. I mean, this thing is insane. There's a lot of played out, boring ass wide body kits on the market for this car, and this one's definitely not one of them. So why does a kit like this exist? In my opinion, the real answer is as simple as Haraguchi-san wanted to make something creative. He knows how to get people's attention, and he's great at marketing. This kit gets people talking. I mean, I'm making a video about it right now, and if you didn't know about 326 Power, now you do. And frankly, for creative people doing crazy stuff like making an insane wide body kit that doesn't even make sense is just fun. If you have the resources and time to do something like this, why not? Life is short. But why stop here? On the GR86, I want to see a kit twice as wide. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I had a lot of fun making this one. If you don't know yet, my name is Nick. I recently moved to Japan and plan on making some pretty cool GT86 content here in the near future. So make sure to subscribe if you want to tag along. Thanks, guys.